Section 1.3, flying over people. Can you fly over people? Well, this is a regulation that has changed a little bit in the past few years. So this is one of the benefits of having a course like this. We keep you updated. If you have something up on YouTube, it might not be all that accurate. It might be a few years old. So, we take the time here, or I take the time to make sure that, if there's new regs that come out, I retape the videos and pop them up so you have the latest info. In any event, can you fly over people? So you need to think about the safety of the people underneath you. Okay, the FAA does not want you flying over large amounts of people, and if the drone crashes, if something happens, the people underneath are going to get injured, right? So in the past, it was just, it was tough to really kind of estimate that. I think the FAA said, if you're flying over a concert or a parade or something where it's really obvious, yeah, that's no good. But if you're at the beach and, how can you really tell if there's only a few people around? If you try to avoid the people, are you okay? That seemed to be okay for a bit. But so they've loosened up on this a little bit and changed this as of March 2023. So let's talk about that. But the idea is that they don't want to hurt people that aren't involved in the flight, right? So if you have someone that is involved in the flight, a visual observer, someone that is helping you, someone that understands what's going on, they know you, they can communicate with you, that's fine. They know what's going on. But what the FAA wants is for the pilot to take a risk-based approach to ensure that they love their risk evaluation stuff, right? They want to ensure that the small unmanned aircraft does not operate over non-participants who are not under a covered structure. So if you're underneath something, a parking garage cover, or inside a car in a stationary covered vehicle, that's okay. A car that's not moving, because if the drone drops, it's going to not hit the person, right? So that kind of makes sense. The small unmanned aircraft will pose no undue hazard to other aircraft, people, or property in the event of a loss of control of the aircraft for any reason. So, all right, I think that's always the case, but that's fine. The small UAS is not operated in a careless or reckless manner, so don't fly like a nut as to endanger the life of property. So pretty obvious stuff. Pretty obvious if you got that test question. Yeah, you're not allowed to fly recklessly, right? So kind of bolded the things there that I think are the important parts. So what the FAA has done is created 4 categories of drones by which you can minimize the operational risk of flying them, right? So, these are the 4 different types of drones, kind of getting progressively larger. Category 1, the drone weighs less than 0.55 pounds and has prop cages and is remote ID ready. We'll talk about that in a bit. So like a newer Mavic Mini will be fine. Put some prop cages on it. You can fly over people and that will be okay. So that's category 1. Category 2, drones must, so now we're getting into larger drones. Drones must not cause 11 pounds of kinetic energy upon impact with a human. They did some tests and figured out that was the amount that will trigger a serious injury, I guess. So, a larger drone is going to have a harder time meeting this 11 pounds. If you have a smaller drone, that might be okay. But if it's flying faster and hits someone, that's going to give you more kinetic energy force that's hitting someone. So this is sort of, a little difficult to figure out. But so, maybe you have a lighter drone or maybe a Mavic Air or something, you're probably in good shape. But how you can prove that and say, oh, FAA, if you had an issue, yeah, I knew it was less than 11 pounds. Like, it's kind of a little difficult to prove. Got to have prop cages and have an FAA accepted means of compliance and an FAA declaration of compliance. So official paperwork saying that you have the ability to do this. So it can be tricky, but you can apply. If you're a professional, if you're a news outlet or someone that flies all the time, or a movie maker, you may, have a more direct, declaration of compliance, more paperwork involved. As regular drone pilots, we're not going to do this. Category 3, drones must not cause more than 25 pounds of kinetic energy upon impact, must have prop cages. So these are heavier drones. Again, the paperwork is going to be more complicated to get this. And then Category 4, aircraft must have an airworthiness certificate under Part 21 of the FAA regulations. These are large drones. This is a whole separate process as sort of, just regular drone pilots who are taking real estate photos or things like that. You're not going to probably go down that airworthiness certificate. It's going to cost you time and money. So that's the issue with Category 4. So could you do it? Yes. If you are at that point, you've been flying drones for a long time, right? And you'll understand. You can contact the FAA and talk it through and figure this out. So as regular just drone pilots, that are people that are just getting started, and if you're in this course and don't have a license, that's probably where you're at. I would say don't ever fly over people if you can avoid it. If you can, use a Mavic Mini with a prop cage, and you should be okay. If you have a larger drone, you have to maybe do a little bit more paperwork to get that done, and it's 11 pounds of kinetic energy. I don't know. It's risky to me. I don't know if I could prove that. I don't know how I would prove that, right? So, think about it. This will come with experience, figuring out the FAA, and I think you'll be in good shape. So, kind of common sense, avoid hurting people. But you can fly over people if you have the right paperwork and the right conditions in place. All right, up next, we're going to talk about weight